How did I bring my dreams alive? Why, with a Anchor podcast, of course. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor does the hard work and distributes your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can even make money with your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to Anchor FM to get started. Hey y'all, quick snippet piece. I just wanted to share with you this morning. It's a bright, beautiful, sunny morning, and I was thinking about y'all and some of the things and how I always say I don't want to talk about relationships, but that seems like to be the biggest thing that people want to talk about these days. And I just saw a post on Instagram and it inspired me to say a few words. You can't, and this was a hard lessons I learned, all right? So it's not like I'm preaching to the choir. I had to learn these lessons on my own. You can't love someone into loving you. Let me say it again. You can't love someone into loving you. Meaning, ladies in particular, and men for that matter, you can't say, well, if I love them harder, if I love them more, if I give them everything that they want, they're going to love me back the way that I love them. That doesn't necessarily work that way, right? You can't convince someone to love you. You shouldn't have to convince someone to love you, but you can't love someone to the point where you're saying, okay, well, if I just love them more, if I hold them tighter, if I squeeze them more, if I give them everything that it is that they want, they are going to love me back. And they're going to love me harder, and they're going to love me the same way. It doesn't work that way. You can't love someone into loving you. In theory, it sounds like you can, right? It sounds like maybe if I just love harder, if I hold tighter, I can love someone into loving me. But in a relationship, this is not your grandma, this is not your mom, your dad, your child. This is a partner, right? And partners are 50-50 in a business, in any venture that they do. And so you shouldn't have to love them more to convince them to love you. You shouldn't have to love them more to convince them to respect you. They should respect you because they're your partner. Period. Point blank, period. Full stop. But I notice a lot of times women are, when we're at the end of the relationship and we look back, we're looking at how we try to get this person to love us, how we try to convince this person to love us more, or how we love them so much we don't understand why they couldn't love us back or treat us back the way we need to be treated. And the bottom line is, it doesn't matter how much you love someone, they are not obligated to love you back. They don't owe you anything. They don't owe you to love you back. You would hope, right, that I love someone and they love me back, but you're not obligated. I tell people all the time, when I tell someone I love them, me personally, I don't know about nobody else. When I tell someone I love them, I'm telling them because I want them to know. That's it. I'm telling you I love you because I want you to know how I feel. It's just like if I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm telling you because I want you to know. There's nothing that you owe me. You could say, if you care enough, I'll take you to get a sandwich, or I love you too. But just because you tell someone you love them, and we'll talk about this on the show when I have the panel of people all together to put in their 2 cents. But just because you tell somebody you love them doesn't mean that they need to turn around and say, I love you back. They don't owe that to you. It's the same way if you tell someone I need $20, that don't mean I got to go in my pocketbook and give it to you. I don't owe you that. And telling someone you love them is the same thing. It is just sharing how you feel. I'm cold. I'm hungry. I love you. I'm tired. It is just sharing how you feel. I'm sharing with you how I feel. There's nothing I can do about it. You're tired, go to sleep. There's nothing I can do about it. You're hungry, go get something to eat. Let's make something. But it doesn't mean that I owe you something in return. And a lot of times we think if we love somebody enough, that they owe me that love in return and they should give it back to you. And ideally they should, and you want them to, but they don't owe it to you. They don't owe it to you. And just because you love them harder and give in more and compromise more doesn't mean that they're going to turn around and say, okay, well, you did this for me. You loved me this hard, so I'm obligated to do these things for you. And it's a horrible truth, because, love is such a sensitive subject and people get hurt. But that's the reality of it. The reality is that when you tell someone you love them, they don't owe you anything. They don't even owe you to say, I love you too. You would like to hear that. But I've come to a point in my life where I told people, don't say it to me if you don't mean it. Don't tell me you love me if you don't mean it. All right, don't say nothing. Say I know. That's it. I love you. I know. My kids tell me, Mom, I love you. I say I love you more. Because I do love you more. I'm your mother and I gave birth to you. But you can't expect in a partner relationship or a friends with benefits relationship or a fuck buddy relationship or whatever relationship we have with our partners, that's going to be an obligation. And when the relationship is faltering or not working in our benefit, we also can't say, well, let me love harder. You can, because some people need that and they need to be held together and they need that support system. But that you got to look at the difference between loving someone harder because they need it or loving someone harder because you need it. Right? Is this what they need? Because, some people go through some shit and they need people to hold them together. Or is this what you need? You need to do this because you need to convince this person to love you back. And I'm in the business at this point in my life. I'm 41 years old. I'm not convincing anybody to fuck with me. I'm not convincing anybody to love me or love me back. If I tell you that I love you, I do. And that's it. And it'll show for itself. And if I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. And there's a lot of people that you can love at this point in life, but they're not good for you. They're not healthy for you, right? Eating too much chocolate, not good. Too many Big Macs, not good. You can love them, not good for you. And there's a lot of people in your lives, good, bad, indifferent, relationships, non-relationships, intimacy relationships, non-intimate relationships, family, that you might love, and they're not necessarily good for you. It's not necessarily reciprocated. And you might have to say, well, I can love this person harder and expect this back and keep getting my feelings hurt. Or I can say, you know what, this is who they are, and I can love them from a distance and do that. And that's still love. That's still also loving yourself and having healthy boundaries to say, you know what, this isn't for me. This isn't a healthy situation for me. And I know when we're younger, we don't think about that because nobody teaches us about that. But as you get older, you need to start realizing that some of these relationships are good for you and some of them are not. And sometimes it's good to love harder and love more and stick your neck out. And other times it's like, no, this is not what I want to build a foundation of a relationship on. And it could be with anyone, but I'm talking about particular with, intimate relationships with partners, right? If you find yourself having to convince this person to love you, then how are you building a relationship with them? And where is that going? Because you cannot convince someone to love you back. You simply can't do that. You could try, you could hope, you could make an effort, but you can't, they're not obligated in any way to love you back. They don't owe that to you. And it's harsh. It's a harsh reality, but it's true. You know what I mean? Sometimes we hold relationships, and if I do this, and if I do that, and I give in to this, and I do that, and I be supportive, and I be perfect, this person will love me back the same way. They'll make me their girlfriend. They'll make me their boyfriend. They're not necessarily going to do that. And they don't owe it to you to do that. That's the part where the fights happen and things go wrong because you're angry and you're upset and it's hurtful. And I get it, but it doesn't mean that someone owes you something. So yeah, that's my words of wisdom this morning. Say It Loud is dropping January 1st. Website dropping January 1st. The podcast going live January 1st. I'm really excited about working with all the people we're working with and bringing you guys new content and information and definitely engaging with all my listeners. It's always a pleasure to talk with you and get your questions. Hit me up on the gram. I am Karen L. Karynelle. I am Karen L. This is Say It Loud, and I'm just sharing some quick words of wisdom. Have an amazing day, y'all.